win. I mean, I gotta work my way in. I mean, I think statistically I'm playing good enough, but I'm not finishing high enough, and I didn't have enough points to get off to a good start from last year, and then I essentially missed 4 elevated events, and it's based on money, and that's a killer. And so I needed to make it up. I think if I can make it to the Tour Championship, that means that I've played well in the playoffs and big events, and it may come down to if Keegan picks himself or not and opens up a spot. It may come down to how other guys are playing that are on the bubble. So I know if I can get somewhat close, I mean, I feel like I'm in similar to even a little better position than Justin was in 23. He was outside the playoffs altogether, where I think maybe if you go off recency bias, I would have been playing better this last half of this year coming into the end of this year. So, that gives me hope, but also remember who was on the receiving end of when Justin got picked. So that doesn't necessarily mean, they're going off the stats guys and they're going to pick the best 12 guys. And, do I think I'm that right this second? No, but do I think I can be that by 3 weeks' time? Yeah.
Let's take a look at the European side of things. Just like the Americans, top 6 players automatically qualify, and Luke Donald will fill out his squad after that. As of today, Donald would probably take top 10 on the list, and John Rahm not pictured. He would just have to figure out potentially one more spot after that. So let's dive into both Ryder Cup teams with Paige. Decisions to be made by both captains over the next couple months. For Keegan Bradley, it seems like more variability on the back end of his team. How are you forecasting things?
There's massive variability. And when you consider that the complexion of this upcoming Ryder Cup team is going to be vastly different than what we've seen in years past. There's just a lot more turnover when you consider J.J. Spaun, Russell Henley, that are guaranteed pretty much in that safe top 6 right now. That have never played on a Ryder Cup before. There's just going to be the complexion will be different. And I think trying to balance the experience level with somebody like a Jordan Spieth versus another newcomer, I think that's going to be all part of the process that Keegan Bradley is going to have to take into account. One of the criteria that I'm looking at is probably something that Keegan will also be looking at is a category that has to do with what will be part of the best ball strategy, and that's the birdie average. And so when I look at the United States team in that 9 through 15, and this, it doesn't capture everybody, it doesn't capture your Goddard, it doesn't capture your Spieth, doesn't capture your Brooks Koepka, but this is right off the ranking. These are the players that are the most explosive. You can see that Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns, more explosive birdie-making type of players when you consider this standing. Now, again, that takes you all the way down to 15th on the list if Keegan were to pick these 2 players. But I'm going to continue to state the case for both Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns. Patrick Cantlay has a steadiness to his ball striking, which I think would also be dynamic in the foursomes competition. You can see he's 30th in strokes gained off of the tee. He's 12th in strokes gained approach. He's also 2nd in par 4 scoring. Again, this is a steady player. Add that into the fact that he has a 15-6-1 international record in match play, both Ryder Cup and President's Cup. I think Patrick Cantlay is a good pick all the way down at 14th. Sam Burns, if you take a look at some of the strengths that he would bring to the team, he's number 1 in strokes gained putting and 51st in driving distance. And George, when I look at Bethpage and what could be for the United States team, they do have an advantage with driving. And for that reason, maybe Sam Burns would fit better than some of the other shorter hitters, like an Andrew Novak that's in that list, in that 9 through 15 position, as far as, again, complementary style of play. He did partner up with Scotty Scheffler at Ryder Cup 2 years ago. They lost, but he did get a win with Colin Morikawa. So he has partnered with a couple of these players that will be likely returning in 2025.
Paige, it's been interesting to see how the markets have been pricing the potential teams on each side. In Europe, the odds have shrunk. They're still an underdog, but they're not where they were priced, say, in January of this year. But I don't know that the markets are looking at how is the European team going to be a fit at Bethpage, specifically the venue. What are you seeing?
Well, again, I haven't played Bethpage, but from what I've heard about what the United States could do, they have control in the golf course setup when it's a home country. That it could be more in their favor, which they have the advantage in the driving. If we take a look at some of the players that will likely be on this European team, and again, much less variability. To your point, George, we very well could see the exact same lineup in 23 as we will this year on the team. These are some of the players that likely will be on the team. Bobby McIntyre outside the top 100, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, Shane Lowry, all outside the top 100 in driving distance. So when it comes to golf course setup and how that could influence the outcome of this tournament, certainly if you can figure out a way, or the golf course setup can figure out a way to have the length and have the advantage to those longer hitters, the United States does have a distance advantage, a pretty significant one. They only have 2 players as of right now in a potential top 12 that rank outside the top 100 in driving distance. Compare that to what the European team has, and there is a certain advantage for the United States as it relates to driving distance.
It seems like we have such a contrast in setup. If it's European Ryder Cup on their home soil, then it's tight fairways, thick rough. If it's U.S., generally it's wider fairways. 2016 at Hazeltine turned into a birdie fest, which played into the U.S. hands. So that's kind of the big X factor. What will we see this fall when they set up Bethpage? We had more news today from the Ryder Cup, the biennial competition. It's heading back to Spain for the first time since 1997. Back then, it was Captain Seve at Valderrama. This time, Camaral will be the host in 2031. Outside of Barcelona, it finished runner-up in venue selection to Rome back in 2023, so it gets the 2031 Ryder Cup.